26-year-old Patrik Antonius is one of the top poker players alive and arguably the best cash game player online. Six-figure pots are commonplace for him. Antonius is a regular in the big game in Bellagio's Bobby's Room and has also played on GSN's High Stakes Poker and NBC's Poker After Dark. He is also regularly playing in the high-stakes games on Full Tilt against some of the poker world's other elite players. As far as tournaments go, he's not too bad there either. He made the final table of the first ever $50,000 horse event at the World Series of Poker in 2006, an amazing accomplishment versus an incredibly stacked field. He also finished in second place in the 2005 Five Diamond World Poker Classic, earning more than $1 million. Patrik is on the phone with us today to share some insight into the poker world and to talk cash game strategy. All right, so how are you doing today, Patrik?
I'm very good, thanks. How you doing, Shawn?
I'm doing very well. Well, so first off, people are saying it, but I wanted to kind of ask you, are you the best online cash game player alive?
Best online cash game player alive? Well, I might be the most successful, but I don't even think if there's any, such a thing as best player. It's all, people's games change, and bad periods and good periods, and it's all about, who's surviving, and I'm doing good. I mean, I've been there around, I think I've been playing the highest games for probably 4 years now, 3 years probably, and I can play any game, and I've been doing good, so I don't know. There's not many players who are really everybody's specialized for one game, or there's only few players who can play many games well.
And you're one of those.
So maybe as an all-around player, I could be, but I'm still a little bit sad. Now it's been a day since T. Priest died. He was definitely one of my idols, because I respect so much more cash game players as he was. He did his things his way. He had a unique style to play, and he was very disciplined as well, and great person. It's just I don't even know what to think about it now, but.
When you made the final table of the $50,000 horse event with him in 2006.
At horse, yeah. I'm really happy I had a chance to play with him. I mean, he's a legend. He's definitely knew every single game and had a good discipline in game selection, and he was a great player. Great player.
For sure.
But, I'm very sorry for his family and everything. It's very sad. Sad thing for the poker world.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's get on to possibly happier things.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, David Sklansky asked you, regarding the very big live game, full table, no limit Holdem games, how many players who are or were considered mainly internet players would be among the top 20 best players playing that game? And your answer to him was 0. What is your reasoning for that?
Yeah, that's a very complicated question, because he said that if he would play now 9-handed no limit Holdem, cash game, and that how many internet players would fit in that group, 20 players. And I mean, those internet players, first of all, it's very few that they really play live. So if you would just take those, first of all, I think that the internet players, they could be, and I think they are more talented players. They're younger. They're probably better players, but if they would take those with these high stakes players, that if you're gonna play very big, like you need to get used to play live as well. Like there's a lot of tells, a lot of feelings for the game. Like I don't really know like who can really play the same game. I mean, it's just like it's a tough question. It's I mean, if they would just practice playing live, they would probably be like most of them would be in that 20 people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the same world. I mean, I'm always off if I haven't played for a long time live. It takes me a couple sessions to get really in. Like, just like it's just not the same game. But it's like, I mean, if you would give those people, those online players, like that, they would really like. They would play all of them like 1 month live. That they just, like get very used to the game. Like they're gonna give some tells away from themselves, and they're gonna have a disadvantage in that way. I mean, they understand the game, but I don't know if they can execute the game that they're doing online.
Well,
it's just a tough question. It's not easy. That was just my opinion. That if you would play like now, like just now, that who would you pick? I would not pick any.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're both an online and a live player. You're big on both online and live. What are some of the major differences between live and online players then, in your eyes, aside from the age?
The first things that pop in my mind is like live players. They're more like for me, they're more like traditional players, that they don't really bluff so much, and they're kind of, since they have more tighter approach for the game. And I see online players like more younger and crazier and more capable of executing very big bluffs and very good bluffs as well. And I think they're really playing a better game online. Like, as a game, they're doing a lot of good things. There's a lot of, it's just, I mean, the reading is a big part of it, because you get such a strong feeling where you're standing in hands. Like, I don't like to play no Limit Holdem online at all, because I don't really get too many tells based on clicking and betting amounts. And live, you can really, like, every hand you get a little feeling that if the guy's strong or weak, or very strong or very weak, or just nothing special, normal. Yeah, it's just, I like more live. It's more fun, I think, and it's a different world totally. And some of those live specialists, like, they really suck online because they have no feeling for the game. They haven't played enough to get the feeling, and they're kind of lost because they're used to making the decisions based on like the feeling they're getting, the way other people are betting their hands and acting. And online, that's just a mouse. So this guy bet this much, and they don't know who they're playing. They're like totally lost. For sure.
Well, you played recently some ultra high stakes heads up matches against Phil Ivey a few days ago on Full Tilt. Could you tell us what went down in that matchup and talk about any interesting hands that were played?
Against Farha?
It was against Ivey is the one I'm talking about.
Against Ivey, yeah. Why did I heard Farha? Yeah, I played with Ivey. Yeah, I haven't done too well lately against him. He's been beating me in every single thing, including golf as well. Yeah, we played a couple matches lately, and usually they've been very short sessions, but this one Phil managed to get me stuck, and he didn't quit, and I just had a bad day, and I lost 600,000. He beat me in horse for 400,000 and Limit Omaha for 200,000. In horse, I don't know if I can tell any special hands because it's only all limit. He had a couple very very bad 2-outers or so. But it's not really like in limit. If you can't make many hands, it's there's nothing you can do. Every pot is like the same size.
Right.
Not a big difference between the size if you go to the river. And but pot Limit Omaha, we played. I think we played 4 big pots. I won one of them. I won the pot when I had a 17-card straight draw, and he had a top set. And we got all the money in on the flop, and I managed to hit my straight on the river, but then I never won any hands after that. One funny hand was that when I managed to raise with my King 7-5 hand, and he re-raised with having 3 aces in his hand, and the flop came 3-6-9, so I flopped the opener straight draw. I mean double gut shot. And he just bet 16,000. I raised it to 66,000. He moved all in, and I missed my 10 out, and I had a backdoor flush draw too. So that was the only like kind of weird hand that he had 3 aces in his hand and he held. But it's a big game. It's not even it's 1,000 blinds and. One buy-in is 100,000, so just lose 2 buy-ins. I'm more like I'm disappointed for the horse. I mean, I've lost to Phil and horse now 500,000 straight, and he's been playing very well as well. I've been playing very well. I don't think I've done anything stupid at the one session. I really beat him for 50,000. I think I played badly, and. It's nice, but they should make these games for other people too. It's not that if I want to play big, I need to play against the best player in the world, I think.
Right.
I mean, Phil he's a great player. Sometimes he's a little off, but when he's playing his best, it's just there's no one like Phil.
I don't think you'll get any argument there.
Huh?
I said I don't think you'll get any argument there.
Yeah.
Well, what's the most that you've won in one day online?
I won 800,000. That's my biggest win. It doesn't like people might think that I won more because there's a lot of other players that they won like $1 million in that one day. Like many different players I know that they won more than I have. I just make like solid results. I have a lot of 100 and 200 winning days. But that's the biggest win, and I think the biggest loss is 700,000. The
biggest loss you've had is 700,000?
Yeah, and I just lost 600 2 days ago, so that was pretty close to the 700.
Well, what's the biggest single pot that you've ever won?
I think it's online. I think I won a 380,000 or something like that pot. I have no idea. 370 or 380.
Okay.
No limit Holdem against Durr. I think that's the biggest pot I've won online.
Well, if I'm correct, in the match that you played against Phil Ivey, or in the matches, I should say, you played No Limit Holdem, you played Pot Limit Omaha, and you played Horse. Which of those is your best game?
I didn't play Phil this time. I didn't play No Limit Holdem at all.
You didn't? Okay.
But I would, I would prefer Pot Limit Omaha for sure. That's the game I like the most. It's the most fun game to play. And there's a lot of things you can do. There's so much bluffing involved, and so much like different decisions. Like you can decide to play your hand in so many different ways, and the reverse as well. Like when you decide to just value bet or check call, or when you decide to bluff or check raise. It's like it's a game of like really. Kind of big decisions. It's I like that a lot. I like No Limit Holdem a lot too. I like everything, in fact. I mean, I like stud and horse. It's maybe I like the PLO because it's a lot of. I like to bluff a lot, so there's a lot of bluffing. There's a lot of big pots. There's a lot of action, and then I think people don't play that game like super well. there's a lot of people have a lot of weaknesses in that game.
You say you like playing every game. Do you like playing Raz too?
Well, the Raz is not my favorite games, but it's like in Bellagio we play like 15 games. The latest game we have now is the 5-card draw as a pot limit, and I like any game. I think it's good to not have a lot of favorite games. Any game is good. When you understand those, it's just, there's a lot of action in triple draw, and some games are just bigger. Like, Raz is just a simple game. It's not like, you need to play the boards, and there's not much you can do. It's just, I don't like really those kind of games, they're too simple.
Well, Pot Limit Omaha is kind of notorious for being an ultra-crazy game with a lot of big pots, even when it's 10-handed. So usually games get even crazier when they're heads up. And I haven't played a lot of Omaha myself, but I assume that this is true there as well? That it's even crazier heads up?
I don't know. I think it goes the crazy. I think it's crazy when there's a lot of short stack players and they just want to put their chips in with anything in. That creates a crazy pass because they can be those deep stack players in one table, which are involved in a pot, and then if some guy just raises with any kind of big pair in his hand, and one guy calls and the other guy calls, and then there's a short stack who just push it in for 5,000. And one guy calls, and another guy thinks that his queens or kings are good, and he just makes it like 30,000 or like that. Creates a lot of like just stupid coin flips, and I think that's the biggest problem in Pot Limit Omaha. They should not have those people sitting in for such a small amounts, because it takes all the way from playing. It's all they just get all the money in before the flop basically, and it's just not poker. It's not playing. I think it's ridiculous to make it like that. That's all coin flips, and they get an advantage as well, the short stacks, because let's say you have 4 big cards in your hand, and like so many times it just happens that some guy races with aces, and there's 4 callers, and he makes it 1,400, and you short stack and you push all in with your like 5,000 or 6,000, and he just makes it 30,000. No one can call you, so now you have like dead money, like 5,000 in, and it doesn't even matter if you're against aces with your ace and 3 racks, but you always have more than 30%, 35% cards. That's just like the stupid part of the game, I think.
Well, how much more often do you get all in Pot Limit Omaha compared to No Limit Holdem then? Like, is it a lot more often?
I mean, if you very deep stack, then you almost never get all in No Limit Holdem.
Right.
But it depends for the buy-in as well. Like, I mean, if you're short stack, it's almost the same. But if you're the deeper it goes, like let's say you buy the maximum you can buy online, then I don't even know. I mean, who cares? Maybe 3 times more, 2 times more, maybe 3 times. It's an action game. There's so many more playable hands in PLO than No Limit Holdem.
Right.
There's so many. There's so many draws and stuff like that. It's just. No Limit Holdem is at the end it's a pretty boring cash game. I think it fits perfectly in tournaments, but as a cash game, it's definitely not the best one. There's I think there's so many different games they fit. There's so much better cash games than No Limit Holdem.
Well, do you prefer cash games or tournaments, and why?
I definitely prefer cash games.
That's what I figured.
There's a lot of reasons. Like, number one reason is that I don't really like to play 5 days or 4 days straight, and you always need to make a commitment for playing such a long time when you enter a big tournament. And then the other thing is the luck factor. They make they make these structures very bad. That it's the further it goes for final table and the top 20, it's just the blinds are always ridiculously high, and it's all about pushing in and getting cards. It's like there's no deep stack poker left when there's like 50 players left, and I think I've been extremely unlucky the past 2 years. I've been there many times, and it can be very frustrating. You play 3 days very good. You think you don't make any mistakes, and you have an average stack when there's, or even better when there's like 30 players left, and then you just lose one hand and you're out. It's just and it's not the best way to make money. I mean, cash games are the key to make money. It's just I just see the tournament as a bonus. So if you hit something, it's like a lottery sometimes. But of course, like there's a lot of skill involved. But it's I could never. I just see the life of a tournament pro. If you only play tournaments and you're a professional poker player, it's a very tough way.
Mm-hmm.
You need to put a lot of hours in, and it's very frustrating. It's you always have the empty feeling if you play a couple of days and a tournament you get knocked out, especially if you get a big beat, and it just feels so stupid and empty. But yeah, I mean, cash games is my thing. I think I'm a cash game specialist, and I mean, I love to play big. The bigger the games are, the more excited it is. I have a lot of gambling in me, and the only fun thing is that when you play tournaments, there's a lot of different kind of players. So you might play with an amateur completely,
mm-hmm.
and you might play with a guy who plays 5-10 Limit Omaha, and you might play with a guy who's playing the biggest game in the planet, and it's like a different. It's always a different setup in the table, because there's all this. There might be guys from satellites, like this. So there's like beginners, whatever. There's like it's a mix of players, whatever. Aggressive, and you just need to know where you stand every time and figure out how everybody's playing. That's kind of fun part of it.
Right.
In these games that I play, it's always the same players basically, and when you sit down on the table, you already know like everybody's play style, and you really need to pay a lot of attention how they're playing.
Right. Well, I just got one more question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most important lesson that you can give to high-stakes cash game wannabes?
Who wants to be a high-stakes cash game player?
Probably no one's watching this.
Just a beginner. I mean, there's a couple things that are most important advice. That first you need to be very disciplined to get there. The money management thing you need to be extremely careful with that. You don't mess your bankroll in any limit. But then there's another thing that to get better, it's like 100 times more important to try to improve your game and play against better players, because that's the best. That is the ultimate best way to get better, is to play against very good players. Because if you don't know the games, like I think you had a question about horse. I don't know. Someone asked me about the horse. Like it's, if you would just play against people you know who play their hands correctly, and you have no idea about the game, you're gonna learn so fast if you're gonna follow how they play their hands. So you need to play against very good players to learn from them. And at the same time, you need to make money from your low limits. But if you're just a player who's just looking for fishes online or live and just trying to make $200 or a couple $100 there and there, like you're not gonna get any better.
Mm-hmm.
You need to work on your game. You need to think think about your game and play, and you need to take shots in the bigger games. And if you don't manage to do well in your shot, you go back to grind the limits you've been playing, and as long as you have money to take another shot, and just step by step raise your game from limit to limit. And I mean, I started to play $1, $2 PLO. That's how I started playing live. I played my first 2 years on the live, and I've always stepped one limit at a time in my game, and I never lost so much that I would have stepped a limit down. Like when I've been taking a shot from the bigger limit, if I don't do well, I just keep playing the same limit, and I never did anything very crazy to raise my bankroll, and I think that's one of the reasons too. There's probably a lot of very, very, very good players, but they just, in a certain point, they just played too high and they lost their bankroll, and they kind of never recovered. It can hurt your game too if you need to go to play lower, and it's about a lot of different things. It's you need to be in the right mindset too, and you definitely need to be a special person to handle this, to handle this gambling, handle the pressure that it's not going to affect your other lives and your emotions, and I don't know. It's about a lot of different things.
All right, well, very good advice. That's all I have for you. I appreciate you doing this interview with us today.
Thank you. Thanks.
And thank you guys for watching the Online Zone on Card Player TV.